All right, so we are Group 8, Section 6. The topic is, should castration and dehorning be done on food animals? And this will be the for side of it. All right, so my name is Mia Goudy, and we're going to start with the history and background of castration. And castration is a process that has been going on for thousands of years. More traditionally, castrating cattle has been used to keep up the population to a specific amount. But in more recent times, castration has been used for different reasons. Castration decreases the aggression of the bulls, which aids in the protection of ranchers and the other cattle. It also causes uniformity in the meat from the herd. In a bull that hasn't been castrated, the meat is tough and not preferable among American consumers. Another reason for castration is to breed with intention to produce genetically favorable offspring. For example, say that a rancher has a bull that is stronger than a different bull. He might castrate the weaker bull so that the stronger bull will mate with a cow in hopes of having strong offspring. There are three methods of castration: the physical or surgical method, the chemical method, and lastly, the hormonal method. The physical is the surgical removal of the testes. The chemical uses an injection to kill the reproductive agents of the bull. And the hormonal method, which is the most recent method introduced into this field, it uses hormone supplements that counteract the testosterone naturally produced by the bull. All right, this is Mia Goudy again. We will talk about the dehorning process in food animals now. Similar to castration, dehorning decreases the aggressiveness of the bull. Dehorning the animal makes it easier to access the feed bunk, and it's easier to transport the animal in the trailer. Leaving horns on the bull would cause the bulls to fight among each other to obtain dominance. This would cause bruising and harm to the animals that could have been prevented from dehorning. Typically, it is done using a hot iron to destroy the horn-producing cells on the head of a calf, or surgically disbudding will remove the horn bud and the horn-producing tissue from the head.
Hello, my name is Alejandra Childress, and I'm going to be talking about the ethics of castration and dehorning on food animals. And when food animals are dehorned, they're less likely to bruise other animals or injure other animals in the eye, udder, or flanks, leading to less meat waste and less aggressive animals, as well as when a horned animal has twice as many trimming of bruising as a hornless cattle, and their flight or fight senses give a response that is short-lived and only relevant to the earliest phases of their distress point. On the two charts below, there is the age range and percentage of operations of disbudding and dehorning, and the disbudding and dehorning methods used. And when you look into the age, the lowest time that they are dehorning or disbudding these animals is 1 to 31 days with 6.2%, and the highest average of time that they choose to dispud or dehorn is from 62 to 92 days with 19.6%. And moving on to the disbudding and dehorning methods used, the most used is the saws, scoop, or keystone, or the guillotine and shears at 39.2%, and the least used is the caustic paste at 5.7%. Continuing talking about ethics, in the link at the bottom there's a video of Dirty Jobs by Mike Rowley, and he goes through the process of castration and what it really looks like coming from both sides of the castration information. And what I mean by this is that when he first came in, he went to different places like the Humane Society and PETA for his information, and they told him that the most ethical and humane way of castrating these animals was using the banding method. However, when he soon realized when he got to the farm that was the least favorable and actually caused the animals to be in more distress and be in more pain for longer. These animals, when they were banned, they would be banned for 1 to 2 weeks and would leave the animal in more pain for longer instead of just cutting and biting. Instead of using the cutting and biting method, which was easier and faster for both the farmer and the animal.
My name is Harrison Macagno. Culturally, castration and dehorning have been a big part of many cultures, especially in American culture. Professions that deal with livestock have used both to make things simpler for them. Many farmers and ranchers both castrate and dehorn their animals because of preference. Both practices have become a big part of the livestock industry due to the many problems they resolve by doing so. The dairy industry has used dehorning as a method to reduce wasted space and to prevent harm to their animals. Also, ranchers or dairy farmers will want to keep a certain bloodline alive, so they will castrate, or not dairy farmers, but the ranchers will castrate their bulls to get the bloodlines they want.
All right, so my name is Bridgette Williams, and I'll be covering the sociological side of it. Basically, with the sociological, farmers believe that dehorning and castrating animals helps to prevent the loss of animals, which in turn lowers the cost of meat in the market. A lot of it has to do with the transportation of their animals, either as live animals or as carcasses, because if an animal arrives at a feedlot or a slaughterhouse as an injured or a damaged carcass, they have to pay more to be able to get that animal butchered or continue feeding it. So they believe that using dehorning and castrating will in turn lower all of the production and later market prices.
Hello, my name is Leslie Garcia, and I will be talking about the current events related to this topic. Preconditioning cattle is a management practice that producers implement to increase buyer interest and add value to feeder calves within the beef industry. Since steers are considered dangerous, preconditioning their calves help promote and market calves for the highest price, and preconditioning includes weaning, vaccines, castration, dehorning, and feed bunk and water training. Feedlots feed the calves to the market weight so that they may go to packers where they are chopped into their primal cuts, and the carcass is then examined for bruising, and if the carcass isn't good, then it is simply discarded. And by preconditioning food animals, producers are setting their products for success on sale day and help build demand to maintain consumer confidence to continue the loop of profit. Preconditioning happens within swine, cattle, sheep, and goat, but should be done as young as an age as possible. And preconditioning usually isn't done within the poultry industry because poultry does not have horns or need to be castrated because they are inseminated. Continuing on with current events, there is an association called American Association of Bovine Practitioners, also abbreviated as AABP, that established and updated their guidelines in 2019, so it happened recently, that protect, reduce injury to animals and people. Because again, steers are very dangerous. Overall, males produce hormones called testosterone that make them more susceptible to injuring their farmers that are in charge of them. There has been updated on the sections in the guidelines on proper restraint, local anesthesia, and systemic pain relief to ensure farmers raise the animals best entrusted in their care, since castration is a necessary procedure. There has been also updates because associations like PETA and the Humane Society call the castration a violation of the animal rights. So in order to have both sides be neutral and ensure that food animal safety, the updates have happened. And within the beef industry, there has been improvements using poll genetics to reduce cattle with horn safety. Another version of this could be hybrid vigor, which they also use genetics to ensure that the cows are born with the most good qualities. And in the picture, there is a Punnett square, which is an example of poll genetics to ensure cows are born without horns. This also makes sure that cows don't have to go through the procedure of dehorning, and also makes them suffer less. And within the industries of food animals, they use birth control, so males do not need to have their parts. They're also separated and in a controlled environment to ensure the safety of the food animals and to ensure the quality of food. And also to ensure safety, they use biosecurity, so there is no danger of disease or toxic farmers to inflict pain on the food animals, since the consumers need to trust the food animal industry in order to purchase.
Hello, my name is Samuel Reyes, and I'm going to be doing the informed opinion on castration and dehorning of food animals.
I got one in there, but they don't want to get both. There we go. So make sure both of them are in there. 1, 2. Just pulled off, see? Just be a bit careful though, those testicles will slide up right here. And you just can't get them. You want to make sure there's no nip.
In the YouTube video, it shows a castration of a 200+ pound calf using an elastrator, which can be shown on the left here on the slide. And this prevents the blood flow to the testicles of the animal. After a few days, it eventually falls off. The Beef Cattle Research Council states that castration allows for a consistent quality of meat that is acceptable to consumers. It avoids price discounts from feedlots and meat packers, and it also prevents unplanned mating. Castration of food animals increases the overall quality of the meat. If the meat quality is higher, then the market prices increase. There are many methods used in order to castrate food animals. Castration can be done through surgery, also called knife cut, or by restricting the blood flow to the testes by using a banding tool, which is called an elastrator. There is also a specialized clamp called a Bridgette, which is used to crush the testicular cord. So now moving on to dehorning.
Like a post hole digger, like a small post hole digger. And it goes in there and just gets the horn and down into the root, because if you don't, they can regrow down into the skull. So let's get her.
As you can see from the video, the contraption being used does inflict pain into the animal, but the person recording said that it can help prevent fights between the animals. They also applied a certain pace to stop the bleeding, and the animal was grazing again after 10 minutes. The Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs says that benefits of dehorning a food animal include reducing the risk of injury and bruising to herd mates, prevents financial losses from damaged carcasses caused by horned feedlot cattle during transport to slaughter. Tools used for this procedure include saws, sharp wires, and guillotine dehorners, which are shown on the top right, which also cut off the surrounding skin and can be very painful to the animal. Horn buds can be physically removed using knives, shears, or dehorning spoons, cups, or tubes. To remove the corium and prevent horn growth, a complete ring of hair surrounding the horn bud should also be removed.